newcomers just yet. So, Deborah, is this your first time on the call or have you been here? I know I've interacted with you before, but I'm not sure if this is your first website's call.
Yeah, this is my first time on the call. Yeah.
You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us what brings you here.
So I did a mini introduction during the newcomers meeting, but I haven't been on the website meeting before. So do I still have to introduce myself?
You can if you want to. We have different people on different calls. So if you want to, you can.
Okay, my name is Deborah Udo. I'm Nigerian and I'm fairly new to tech and open source. This is my first open source project, actually. I'm happy to be here.
We are happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, welcome, Deborah. And normally Deborah Priya like warms up the audience a little bit, kind of gets the juices flowing, and then she pounces with, "Hey, can you introduce yourself?" And sometimes she gives an example of what that means, but she's trying to do 5 things at once, so it's weird. We have to forgive her. She's hosting, taking meeting minutes, trying to get the folks that are listed here to jump in. There's a lot of people that come to the meetings or to the projects that have the best of intentions to participate, and they sign up and volunteer, and then sign up and volunteer some more and don't do anything. There's a lot of people that come and do a ton. I think if you were to percentage wise, I don't know, I suppose it's not too bad, the number of people that sign up and make an attempt. Like it's about, I don't know, maybe it's like 70% across the projects that somebody will sign up and then they make an attempt. The other 30% just sign up, don't do anything. And then I don't know, like Nikhil, would you take a guess as to what percentage of people sign up and actually are the ones that end up completing the task? I don't know. It's not like it's terrible percent, but
I would guess it around 60 to 70%.
Yeah. Anyway, just random factoids as we get started this morning. Good. So there's a lot of folks that are, so this is the Layer 5 websites call. We have it every Monday about this time. We usually like clockwork because a lot of time, not always, but a lot of times Deborah Priya is hosting, which is great. That means that we're actually organized and have some things to talk about. We do rotate the host role occasionally. I think Nikhil was just hosting maybe last week or the week before. There's a lot of, well, I don't know, it might be a more appropriate title to this call if it was called like the front end call. I don't know, because we certainly talk about a number of different websites that are generally like static content sites. We also talk about, well, the Meshery Playground, which wouldn't be static at all, it'd be an application. The same thing for Meshery UI, it's certainly an application. I don't know that we talk about Meshery Cloud, its UI here much. It doesn't have, it has about 7 pages, I shouldn't say pages because it's not a website. Meshery Cloud is an application, it's a service. It has 7 different screens to go to. Anyway, just kind of orienting some of you who are doing a great job of filling in your name. If you don't have your name in there, please drop it in. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So.
Okay, so do we have any other newcomers today? I see one more person, so I'll wait for you to volunteer to introduce yourself. Otherwise, I'll take your name. Anyone who's on this call, who's attending this call for the first time, like Lee was saying, I started off very abruptly, but you can introduce yourself and let us know what brings you here, what you work with, what you want to work with, anything you'd like. Okay. So, Emmy, is this the first time on the website's call?
Time on the website call. I just joined a few weeks ago, a few days ago, sorry.
Okay, great. Welcome to the community. Cool. I don't see any other newcomers today. Okay, so I think we can begin with the agenda items. So I'm not sure if everyone assigned in this list is on the call. So just quick update since today was your deadline. Bhavya, how far along are you with the authors section?
Yeah, I made.
We cannot hear you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, hey everyone. Hey Debupriya. So yeah, actually I made a PR for this, but I have one question regarding this. Like you said that we have to place technical reviews in the form of components, or like reusable components, if I'm right. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so my question is that like this site is using Gateway plugin, so we are not like I'm not able to do reusable components in this. Like if I did like we did in React, it is not showing. It gives me error. So I read a documentation, but I want to like discuss something regarding this because in the documentation we have to make these reusable components in Gateway config.js file. So I'm not sure that I have to make there or that's why I just for technical review I now push the code like in normal code that we are using. But if that is a requirement, so I can make reusable components.
Okay, by reusable components, I didn't mean something this complicated. I basically meant that like don't hard code the members, like have a separate list of okay, how do I explain this?
Yeah, I
Basic,
understand your like yeah, you want that that link and that images are separate so that we can import that thing in our file. Yeah, I guess
no,
you mean that.
yeah, sort of. I just want that you have one style, one set of style, and one set of component. And as and when we have technical reviewers added, we don't have to go through the styling and the design once again. It'll be as simple as like once you create that component, it'll be as simple as just adding the details. Like we have if you go through our members page or any other collections on the page, we have a template and we just add the details of the additional members. So that is what I meant by reusable components. Nothing much, like nothing more than that.
Okay, so like if I hard coded this in the same file of authors.js, like author.js, so the style will be same for all. So you don't need to worry about it. I only edit Matt because other are just reviewer 1 and reviewer 2. So when I got to know who are other reviewers, I can add other reviewers. Is that okay? Because I don't know the names of other reviewers. So this is my question. Otherwise, I am made up PR already.
Yeah, cool. Can you share your screen? Can you show us how it looks right now?
Okay, just a minute. Yeah, I'm sharing. Just give me a minute.
Okay, so while Bhavya shares, Ishan, what about you? What's your progress in the about section? We cannot hear you if you're speaking. Love Kush. you were looking into the Nava, but
Hello,
if
am
I'm
I
not
audible?
wrong, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I was saying that it's almost about
And you're not audible again. Ishan, I don't think you're audible anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so role footer is completed, and Kamal, the about section is ready for review. Cool.
Yeah,
Haley
hi.
was-
So about section, I've made it responsive and it was ready for review.
I think Nikhil pushed a
Also,
container component.
yeah.
Did you use that? Like, because I think last time when we were discussing, there was some problem with the alignment and white space and something like that. So if you use the component container component, it'll be
Check.
thing.
Yeah, actually, he has pushed that container today itself about some hours ago. So today I have actually college, so I couldn't update it. So the last update was yesterday. So I will update the container also. Rest it is made responsive. Uh, yeah,
Cool.
that is for
So,
the about section.
all right. So Kamal has lived up to the deadline, and your work is ready for review according to you. So, Bhavya, are you ready to share your screen now?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm sharing.
Cool.
Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Kamal, in the meantime, one thing that I noticed while reviewing the about section is that on different screen versions, the image of the book, it's not like it gets cut in the banner, but we want a slight overlap on a specific screen resolution. I'm not sure if you fixed it already, but last time I checked, that wasn't the case.
So Devapriya, when did you last time check it?
I think 2 days back, if I'm not wrong.
2 days back.
It's
So I've
present.
updated it. Say it once after the
No,
meet.
no. Kamal, it's present in the current code as well. Like if you check British, please, that's the case as well.
Okay, Bhavya, let's move on to the other topics. Once you have it completely ready, we'll circle back to you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe it is compiling still. When it will compile, I will share again. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so what else? Navbar, Lavkush is with us. I'm not sure. Cool. Yeah. Kamala, you say something?
About navbar, I was working on the navbar and Lavakush had volunteered to make it responsive on the mobile designs. But I felt like if I've worked on all the code, so I'll find difficulty. So I have made it responsive on the mobile design too, the navbar. The hamburger menu comes in, and I think a slight change that is needed is the hamburger menu should be just a little above. Rest, the navbar is completely complete. If I was audible.
Yeah, you were. Just one thing. I think you shared the preview link on
Yeah,
Slack.
this one.
1 second.
No, it is here also. Under the navbar major updates.
Yeah. So we do not want this like the same effect on the button. This has to be changed. The logo is too small. The logo on about should be approximately of the same height. So there are a couple of small changes required on the desktop view as well.
Layer 5 logo should be more bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Hi guys,
follow.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just checking
And
my
like,
mic.
Just
yeah,
follow the
now you are
design
audible.
that has the correct aspect ratio and everything that you need to follow. So it'll have to look exactly similar to that.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, Ishant, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's some issue with my mic on the laptop, so I'll share the screen on my laptop and I'll speak from my phone. Is that fine?
Yeah, cool.
Sure. Two things. First of all, apart from the join layer 5 button, everything is done. I'll just share the screen. And one more thing is that I'm facing some issue with my the font, which is supposed to go in. I'll just show the thing to you guys. Just a minute. The font which is there in the Figma design is not getting loaded. Instead, I have some sort of open sans serif and not the open sans. Just a minute. So yeah, this is the, if you can see it.
Yeah, no, font is not loaded. I think Nikhil added the fonts to the code, right? So it should be there.
Okay, I'll just check with the upstream ones. But here the layer 5 join layer 5 community button is supposed to come, and that is also almost ready. And if you guys are okay, by tonight I'll push a PR.
Okay, yeah,
And
please.
yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys, your opinions, any suggestions.
Yeah, other than changing the font to our like brand font, everything else is
Right.
fine. But once Bhavya, since this is sort of integrated to Bhavya's
Right. Yeah. Also. Oh.
So yeah, so once that is merged, I think we will need some additional changes to put it in sync. But yeah, otherwise it looks fine if you change the font.
Sure. And one more question I had is this: these links which point to the service mission to spec, and these are these supposed to be like clickable? What are they called? On this word, like the links. So if I click on this word, it'll go to that site.
Yeah, they have to be links. You don't have to add the address. Just make those.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Are you able to see? So I edit like this. The technical review. Only the medium.
We'll need some space between the logos.
Yeah, this one, if I'm right. Yeah.
All of them, even the one in the technical
Here
review
also.
section.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and otherwise it is like in the desktop, like it is almost responsive. But for the mobile view, I guess we have to change the design because like this font is not appearing if we do in a mobile. Yeah. So like one thing I can do for the mobile is like after this image we can put the text
Yeah, do that.
in this PR itself, or should we
Yeah.
create a new PR? Okay.
No, your PR isn't complete yet, right? So add mobile responsiveness and everything to this PR itself.
By the way, otherwise it's okay. Like apart from the space.
Yeah, like I think you'll have to do small modifications to the spacing and everything. Like when you are on a different screen size, even the heading is not center aligned. Meet our authors. So look into the design and have all of these ready. Then we'll give one final review.
Yeah, okay. But now that a PR is not in draft form, like I made it a public. Earlier it was in draft. Okay, so the changes you suggest, I can comment those changes.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. So anything else on the service mesh pattern side today?
One more thing I'd like to point out is that the background image which just Bhavya just showed, the quality of it is very bad if we pay attention
Yeah.
to it.
Exactly. Actually, what happened, because on the Figma, I was not able to find that same image. So I just take this image. Wait, I will show. I can share my screen. Just a minute.
No, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with the with your Figma import. I think it's the problem with the image, because even I tried when I was making the about layer file, I dropped the background image because the quality was so bad.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like I can show if Debupriya, is
Yeah,
that
no,
fine?
I can,
Or
yeah. Yeah, I
yeah.
can show. In the, by the way, I don't know if how many of you, how often this particular resource is, that folks who are here in the community realize that there's this resource, which is inside of the community drive in Google Drive. There's a Google Drive called Layer 5 Community. It has, well, a few different folders. Some of the folders are for each project, Meshery, Service Mesh Performance, Nighthawk. Those are the larger individual projects, but there's also a few folders just on community and process, and like there's a ton of files inside the drive, sometimes even pirated movies, because sometimes community members want to use that drive to share things. Anyway, there is a folder in there called, I think it's called Websites, Logos, and Assets, I think. And in that folder, there's all the logos that we have. Somebody was asking me recently for, I don't know, somebody was asking me about logos recently. And they're in that, outside of being on layer5.io/brand, all the logos are in there. But more than that, there's tons of assets for different icons and things that we've used, or colors, or the particular image that we're talking about right now. It might be in its original vector format in that folder. It most likely is. I've had to, and I think Deborah as well had to clean it up a bit.
Pasted the link in the chat.
Nice, perfect. And so I highly recommend checking out the resource that Nikhil shared, just because even just to familiarize with what's in there a little bit, it's helpful. And then the Service Mesh Performance project, smp-spec.io, that same image is like basically the first image on that site. And in the version of the image there is, quite high quality. So it's another place to have a look.
Okay, thank you so much, Lee. I will definitely look into this.
Nice, yeah. And that is, you don't have to necessarily reverse engineer that particular site, because it's open source as well, just in one of our other orgs. And so, yeah, anyway, the original's there.
Okay. So, Bhavya, you'll work on the responsiveness, and I think everyone else is clear on their assignments. Let's move on from this, and I have listed down a couple of action items over here, and we need volunteers for each of these. So, starting with the integrations collection. So, I think Sahil, he worked on building this integrations collection, and we show this on our homepage now. So, this has become pretty important. But the individual pages, I think Lee has changed the description over here, but we are yet to change the see it in action page, like to make it more customized and like appropriate over here. Like I think all of the service meshes, they have this, and both of these images are the same. So we're looking for volunteers to, like, we have all these screenshots and everything available, like Lee was talking about. It's in the community drive. You can refer to the docs to see which are the appropriate images to go in here. But we just need volunteers to switch these images out and maybe change these descriptions over here. So is anyone on the call open to do it? It might not be a one-person job because we have a ton of integrations already. So we can divide the task, but do we have any volunteers to take this up?
As you all think about that for a moment, I have a question about the single page
Volunteers for
integrations
what?
page.
Refreshing?
Yeah, say it again. On the single page integration page, is the images that are used in the carousel there, the see it in action section, are those images, or rather is the configuration of this particular component, is that configuration per integration, or is that the images that are shown here, is that universal to, is it just one set of images, or is it?
It is per integration.
Okay. Nice. That's great. Yeah.
I think some of them do have a different image. Like the Docker one has a different image.
Yeah. So this morning I was just considering that Hacktoberfest is coming up. Docker, actually funny, Docker had asked us to partner with them on some things to do within Docker extensions. Outside of that, we always participate in Hacktoberfest. And this, I was thinking about where we could open up a number of issues. And actually, there's probably like one issue to open up, one or more issues to open up per integration. One is the descriptions are, in need of being updated, almost all of them. And then the same goes for the graphics. So yeah, we might have to write up an issue and then copy and paste it a few times and get a few help wanted issues out there.
So like for all the integrations, we'll open up different issues?
Probably, it would, in part because the overwhelming majority of the work is achievable considering that there's a docs page for each of these integrations and a little bit of info. It doesn't take too much research to just, copy and paste from the docs page over. And I got to imagine, like, we want to try to make sure that the help wanted issues that are tagged with Hacktober, that are suggested for Hacktoberfest, are on the lighter side, or pretty well described and self-contained, meaning that all of the answers and resources that someone needs to complete that particular issue are more or less like contained within the issue, because it's a ton of work trying to answer all the questions that people bring up. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool. We can do that. There'll be less confusion as well, rather than people doing them in bulk.
Yeah, we might get into a rhythm. Yeah.
Cool. And in the dark mode, do you guys think that we should change this white to the grayer version?
Yeah.
I thought, at least in the dark mode, like just a small change. Since this is the active one, it looks like this is the inactive one for some reason. We can make this black, white, and the other black, something like that. And that brings me to one more area in need of volunteers, that is review the light and dark mode. So it's been a while since we published our dark mode, and we have had a couple of changes. So if someone can volunteer and review the entire site once more to see if there are any like problems in any of the modes, that'll be great. So I open up issues whenever I see anything out of place. But even the smallest things can be pointed out. That can be one thing that we can have in a hacktoberfest. Like yesterday, I noticed that this logo should be white. Smallest things like that. So anyone, like, this can be open for everyone to do. Anyone can review them, and if you see something that is out of place or is wrong, just open up an issue or let us know. Either of the two. Okay, so do we have any? Okay, no.
Yeah, hey, just as we go along here, will Ishan, if you can hear me, did you mind opening up an issue about ensuring that we list Hacktoberfest for Hacktoberfest 2022? That'd be really helpful.
Hi, can you repeat yourself? I just missed what
Yeah.
you said.
Did anybody else hear me by chance?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I just
Yeah, I know. I know.
did not get what you said.
I understand. Did anyone else hear me?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Deborah, do you mind doing that?
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Thanks. And
Yeah.
just to
Is
clarify
there a
that we're
deadline to that?
no, about a week, like next week this time.
Okay, that should work.
Oh, nice. Okay. The other thing too, I'm interrupting Deborah Priya a little bit just because there's like 3 or 4 actionable things kind of piling up, and I just want to make sure that people are really carrying those away. There's another one. Nikhil, do you know on the internship programs page that we have, are those set up in a collection fashion? So
Yeah.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder, we've done so many rounds of LFX, like almost for a year, for the last few years, even before it was even called LFX. And I wonder if we have, yeah, like in concept, we would have winter, spring, summer, fall for each, like almost 4 entries for each year. And so I wonder if that isn't another issue we couldn't open, is to go backfill some of those.
As of now, the single page itself loads the complete description, because when this page was added for year 2022, I went back for 2021, and I think the actual LFX repo that we have, it also only contains one of the project from Mesh Redesign. So yeah, 2021 only contains Mesh as the only good. That was the cloud native playground, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll have to go check. But this is a collection though. And so it's just, yeah. Okay. Loading up. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deborah, I won't clarify that task again. I will seek out someone else, Deborah, but thank you for being willing to volunteer. Good. Okay. I can't remember if there was a third issue, but I just wanted to get names against things.
So what did we conclude with this? We can change this, right, to the different terms.
We can, like, as of now, I think Lee will confirm if there is more data to add. If there is, then we will get it updated. But as of now, for both the years, we have all the projects listed down there.
what we can do is like in 2021, I don't think we had 7 LFX internship places open. So here we can display maybe only the ones which were open, and here we can add all the latest ones, something like that. I'm not sure if that is what Lee meant, but that makes sense, sort of.
Yeah, or yeah. My thought was just that we've done a bunch of them, and they're probably not all represented here. So, but not critical. But I'll see if I can't find a link to some of the other descriptions for some of the historical projects. To Nikhil's point, there's been one description reused a number of times, and so yeah, we might be light on those.
So next up, one thing that has been a problem for a while was that the core web vitals on desktop view has been failing. So recently this data was not visible as well, because I think that was a problem with the sitemap. We submitted a new sitemap to Google Analytics, and this data wasn't available when I last checked, maybe 2 weeks back, but now this is back to normal, but the core web vitals is failing. So I think Ivar, if he's on the call, he's not, he was looking into this. In a way, he suggested some changes, and I have also listed down, like, the performance is good enough, it's at 96, but there are some other suggestions that were made over here in PageSpeed Insights and on SEMrush as well. So I've listed down some easy ones as in these ones can be immediately executed. Fix broken links. I remember I created a spreadsheet. We had a large number of broken links before, but now I think that issue was fixed. We probably have, I think, very few now, but if there's anything remaining, I'll open up another fresh issue for this. This is another thing, images don't have alt attribute. I think Kamal worked on the handbook section for this, but we'll just go through quickly the other sites to see if there's any other image missing the alt attribute. And one important thing that we can do in mobile view is defer off-screen images, basically lazy load the images on mobile view. This is one issue which is mentioned here. And there are a number of images in the list which can use that. So there's one more area where we can cut down the load time and everything. So apart from these, there are some other suggestions over here as well. So if anyone who's into performance and SEO and stuff, or even if you just want to explore, you can just take a look. There are like, the problem with 2 videos loading is fixed now. It's just one. So that was actually very miraculously fixed. I don't think anyone fixed it. But
okay. Sorry, I meant to chuckle to myself. I think I did it out loud.
So yeah, so do we have any, I'll open up issues for these, but any volunteers on the call right now, then we can have your name against these tasks. No. Okay, cool. Right, so this is not.
Wait. I just sorry, I can't help myself today. So Ishan and Deborah, by the way, don't feel bad about asking to have the thing that I'd said repeated and me not repeating it. Don't feel bad. I'm just trying to streamline part of what we do, trying to help people also snap attention if they can. But the thing that Deborah Priya just said, a lot of you are here to like learn stuff and impact and be like actually have your name talked about, like we are in the chat about. There's 300 something people who've contributed, more than that, that've contributed just to the Layer 5 IO site. Like it's not a, there's and I can almost name every single one of them. Like it's really important to me and to the others that are here, to Deborah Priya and to Nikhil and to Gaurav, and there's a lot of folks that have here and had an extensive list of interactions and have grown a ton. And so it's very meaningful when people engage, and that's what most of you are here to do, is engage. And I certainly realize, like putting myself in most of the rest of your shoes, that it's like, oh, okay, wait, she just called for someone to volunteer. I don't know if I should, like, I'm not entirely sure technically what that involves. Would I be successful? Are 9 other people going to jump on it at the same time? If I have questions, who do I see? Do we need that tomorrow or like 2 months from now? Those are all great questions, all good things to clarify. I mean, if you're on the call and you don't have things that you're working on, or that you have your name next to, that's a great time to raise your hand and ask some of those questions. And so the learning paths quiz, how did this end up as an agenda item? That is.
No, I was just going through the site and I remember that we started with this and we never finished it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I was just talking to, gosh, my short-term memory is gone. I don't know, just this last week, I was talking to someone and they were pretty excited about the learning paths. I think it might have been Antoinette Caldwell. And she didn't know that was a resource. She came to the community to kind of study Kubernetes, Docker, and service mesh stuff. And so she was looking through the courses, and she was like, oh yeah, this looks kind of like those certifications that you could get from a couple of other places. You can go and kind of study service mesh and then take a quiz and get a certification. I'm like, oh yeah, that's been in our plans for a long time, specifically around these learning paths. So if you go to layer5io/learn, one of the resources is a learning path, and the learning paths are quite deep. You can navigate into them quite deeply. There's the overall learning paths. There's these, you get to choose one of 2 courses that you want to try. Inside of that course, this particular one, you get to choose one of 2 learning paths. Inside of a learning path, there are any number of courses. Inside of a course, there are any number of chapters. Inside of a chapter, there are labs and just various things to learn. Well, the next step here on learning paths was to just add a quiz, either to the end of each chapter or just a quiz totally at the end of the whole thing, and then to allow people to hand out a certificate about their knowledge and the fact that they've taken this learning path. And it's not the biggest piece of work. It's not the smallest piece of work. There's a couple of aspects to that particular effort. So one is, well, just having the certificate itself. Maybe we would sign up with something like Credly, cred.ly, I think, to help them facilitate and officiate like the handing out of credentials of a certificate. It's something that one of the nice things about something like Credly, I believe, is like if you're on LinkedIn, you go update your profile and you say that you've achieved this certificate, you've been certified for something. I think there's a nice integration there where it will display the certificate image. So we have to figure out if we're going to use a third-party service or just generate those ourselves. Everybody here has the ability to grab a user account, and people would need their own account so that they can, they can sign in, take the quizzes, pass, get their certificate handed to them, always come back to find that certificate if they need to. Anyway, we talked about this a bunch of times. There's a whole design spec on what that might look like. That design spec is in the Layer 5 drive. I think it's called Learning Path Design Spec, something like that. And so, yeah, if you're here, you don't have something to do. This is not the simplest of ones. We'd want to engage with a collection of us, 4 of us, at least 2 of us, if not 4 of us, to iterate on like this next thing. Oh, actually, yeah, I forgot how much work had already been done around one of the aspects to something like this that intrigues me personally is the fact that the layer 5 site is not run on a web server. Rather, there aren't actively listening processes and back-end code that we're running to handle the interactions that people have on the site. If we did have that, a lot of things that we were trying to accomplish like this would be easier because you have but on layer 5 IO site, all we have is client side stuff because the layer 5 IO site's running on GitHub pages, and that's just static content. As a visitor of the site, you actually might not realize that. Like there's a lot of interactivity that goes on. And so we can certainly achieve a certification and a testing process with the tools that we have in place today. But it kind of intrigues me because it's not necessarily obvious how that's done. I think if you look inside the design spec, you'll see that there's an answer in there already. So that's why I paused, because it was like Deborah Priya had described this area. I didn't hear 5 people jump on it. Actually, like I wouldn't mind jumping on it, just because it's kind of a juicy one. So there's a better description. If you're interested, speak now. Raise a question in Slack.
No questions? Okay, so I just wanted to bring this up so that we work on this because it's pretty interesting. So anyone who's actually if you think you'll be consistent and you want to give in a lot of effort into this, we can take this to the next level. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. I think we can cover these topics. So Rohit, do you want to share your screen?
You can just share your screen. I have less bandwidth over here. Thank you. Yeah, could you reduce the screen size? No, I mean compress it to, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I had the task of adding load more filter, load more button, and one of those filters. If you can, all those work. If you can just check once. And then if you just scroll down, you'll find a load more button where you can dynamically add more cards. So that was my update. It's been sitting for a while right now. If we don't have any changes, could we get it merged?
We can add the load more over here as well, right? Why is this all messed up?
Yeah, that is when when you expand it to the full screen width. When you refresh, that won't happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The load more thing makes sense.
A load
We
more
can add
thing
it.
for the full screen. In my peer, it was requested only for the mobile view. It had to be rendered only for the mobile. So I think someone else is working for normally, like the web view.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any suggestions, any feedback on this? Anyone on the call?
Yeah, with respect to the mobile view dropdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like a dropdown.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Good. It sounds like you already knew that. So okay. So
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I had another solution where I had the same load more button for this as well, for the filters as well, like the same thing. So actually, Yash had I think Yash asked for your review, Devapriya, in the PR. So it was either this or that. So if you could just confirm this, or I could just make this more intuitive so that people know that it's an outdoor. It's a drop down.
Yeah. So right now, if you're landing on this page for the first time, you won't understand that this and this,
Yeah.
they are like, it's sort of.
Yeah. I could add a catalog filters logo and then a down arrow button next to it inside the button. That'd be fine.
If you have an example, share it in the PR. I didn't check it out yet. I'll see.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think we can discuss this later. We have more items in the meeting. So yeah, that's it for me.
You can experiment with the button and the drop down a little bit. If you think like once you realize that it's looking good enough now, you can ask for review. We'll check it out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, Ishad, let's cover your topic first. I'll discuss this at last. Catalog pages.
Yeah, it's just a small topic. It's about the catalog pages. Actually, we actually discussed this last week as well, but many people actually volunteered for finding the information, but I don't think we still have the information so that we can merge the PR into the repository.
So you have some part of it done with the
Yeah, I have
resources.
most of the part done. I'll can I just share the screen? You guys can see it as well.
Yeah.
So, oh no, this is the site. I'll need some time. I did not. I don't have the PR open. No, I do. Wait.
So whatever information is out there, like whatever you've updated, we can merge that, and you can keep looking for updating like the rest of them. We can do that.
Yeah, see, I'll show you the information which is already there. So we are missing on this part, the debugging the data plane pattern.
I
Then
think
we
your
are
screen is frozen.
sorry,
like at least I can't see anything.
You can't see the screen.
I can see the catalog page, but if you're showing something else, that's not visible.
Yeah, so I was saying that we have the debugging the data plane part which is remaining. You can't see the, okay, fine. I don't think you can see the, never mind. So whatever, you can't see the pages.
No.
Okay, fine. So I'll just cover it as it is. What I was saying is the HTTP auth is done, TCP metrics is done, and the TCP packet pass is done. We have some of them remaining, but yeah, if you see 60% of the cards are done. And also there's a couple of more in the patterns as well. We brought this up last week as well. Many people volunteered to find the information, but I still don't have any information on the PR so that I can finally merge the PR.
Yeah. You know who has some of the better info is Antoinette Caldwell.
Yes, I have been in touch with her, but
yeah, she's gonna start to intern this week. And so there are all kinds of pressure points to apply to her to make her help get you that answer. What I would say is you should get the 60% that you have done. We should merge that, because that's 60% better than what we have now, which is just Latin, and ain't nobody here speaking themselves some Latin. So the 60%, like, we should get that merged. Great, you still have 40% left. I'll remind me in Slack, but she's probably the right one to lean into. And she's been building each of them and running each of the filters. And so, yeah.
Sure, then we'll get the 60% merged. I'll do it tonight.
Nice. Yeah, we'll want to leave the referring issue open so that we don't lose the other 40%. But yeah, that's a great iterative thing to do. It's good.
Okay. So one last update is this weekend I sent out the email for the design program that we had planned for a couple of days. So this doesn't only include the Meshery.io redesign. I thought I'll bring it up on this call as well, since we have a couple of UXers joining the website's call. So for the next 2 weeks, starting today, technically, we have a design period where any number of you who are into graphic design, if you're into video editing, if you're into logo design, any sort of stuff like that, like the major areas in need is video editing. We need product videos like the one you see on, one second, the Meshery page. This is not a complete product video for Meshery. We can have people complete this, or maybe something new. We have mesh map, we have all the other projects that we have. So product videos, or we can have short snippets as videos, which will be good, like which will probably not be an entire product video, but maybe showcase one feature of Meshery or mesh map, and that can be used to share on social media, or I think for the integrations, instead of screenshots, we can add them in over there as well. So videos, they are like very good resources. We can use them anywhere. So that is one area in need. And some other areas can be graphic and illustrations. Like recently, we added an infographic, if you see over here. So this sort of a thing, which is like visually demonstrating a ton of info, can be on our projects and can be on something related to our projects. We can publish it on the resource library that we have. So stuff like that. And finally, the Meshery.io redesign. Now, while these illustrations and video editing and logo design, everything can be individual contributions, Meshery.io redesign, it might call for collaboration. So if you've been attending the website's call and if you've been in the community for a while, I think all of you are aware of why we need this redesign. We need to showcase all the latest features that Meshery has, which is like a ton more than what is currently represented on the site. So we want better representation. We want this to be very attractive so that people actually come and they are enticed to use our products. So that is the main purpose of the redesign. So if you've been on the calls, you have heard Lee talk about it. You've heard me talk about it, of why we need the redesign. So if any number of you are interested, you can also participate in this. And after the end of the 2-week period, we'll use one of the websites call itself to review these designs. And we'll see which ones are the best ones that we'll put to use. And all of your works will be recognized on our blogs. We'll share them on our social media. So like the best works and the most consistent members stand a chance of having their profiles up here, which is, I think, a great amount of recognition that you can have. So yeah, that's just a small announcement from my side. And since we are over time, I don't think we can cover this topic today. So Aditya, let's take this up on the Measure call or on the next website's call, if that's okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll also post in the website channel.
Okay. Cool. So anything else that you guys want to discuss now?
Yeah, I'll just take 2 minutes, actually a minute, because last week me and Kanika had opened an issue where we were planning to implement a dark mode for the Meshery documentation as well. We were in talks with Harshit, and then I think both of them are not there today on the call, but I did not get any update as such for the Meshery documentation dark mode. So was wondering if anyone else knew about it.
Can we get a written proposal from all of?
We have an issue opened up on the Meshery repository by Kanika.
The issue describes the process and everything. Like what I meant is a written proposal of why we want this. How do we plan on implementing this?
Sure,
Like
then
if-
I'll talk with Kanika about the design proposal. I'll let you know in the next website call.
Yeah, so I think if 3 of you are interested, just write it down and let us know how you'll implement and why.
Sure,
Like,
because Harshit was
proposal.
the implemented dark mode for the layer 5 site. So
yeah, and you can add it to the layer 5 drive and share the link with all of us once you have the proposal ready.
sure, no issues. I'll do that.
Okay.
Nice. Hey, just to clarify, just so there isn't time, there isn't miscommunication or time wasted, is that's, I mean, to me, that sounds great. Like, dark mode for the Meshery doc site, even for the Meshery IO site, the project site, dark mode sounds pretty great. The design proposals, it's kind of twofold. One is visually, what might that look like? What's the proposed visual design? The other one is implementation wise, functionally, how would that be implemented? In between the two is the user experience about how they might switch between light and dark mode. And so there's kind of all of that are things that you want to work on. Ishan, does that make sense? Sounds
Yeah,
like
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. So I think that brings us to the end of the call. Thank you everyone for joining. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. Bye all.